Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Stephen Dalton, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. In tonight's story, we mark Halloween as I tell you about the real birth of Halloween and how, in fact, it is an ancient Celtic festival that found its roots in places like Scotland and Ireland, my homeland. And so in tonight's story, we will venture back through the ages, back to one of the first Halloweens, and experience it through the eyes of a child. One small thing, because we are talking about Halloween and Samhain, the ancient Halloween, there is talk of spirits, but I assure you, this is a very safe and heartwarming sleep story, and the spirits are merely ancient ancestors. And finally, if you want the video to end at a particular time, YouTube allows you to set a timer in the settings. And don't forget to disable autoplay so you can avoid ads from upcoming videos. Now, let's do the relaxation session before we hear tonight's story. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. And as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support beneath you. Whether it's your bed, or the floor, or the earth, just really feel supported. You are supported. Enjoy this feeling. 9. Allow a little gratitude for this moment, for the opportunity of rest, for shelter, for the peace that lives within you. 8. Feel that peace. It's there. It's always there. It just needs to be seen and found. Breathe into it now. Go gently on yourself. Soothe yourself. Life can be hard, but you have to take moments of peace. You deserve it. 5. Allow your imagination to begin to come to life. Start to see an ancient scene. The west of Ireland. Mountains. People. A beautiful lake. An old settlement. 7. Feel into your body now. That's where we'll be going soon. Maybe you're holding somewhere in your feet, in your chest, in your hands. Look upon yourself with compassion. Your body has worked hard for you today. 4. Any residual tension, continue to let it go now. Are you holding in your face still? Your legs? Three. Feeling yourself sinking deeper and deeper. Let it rest now. Towards deep sleep. 2. Six. Just allow the fact that the day is done to become real to you now. Allow your thoughts to slow. Remember, you are safe. My voice will only take you to safe places. 1. Completely letting go now as I tell you tonight's sleep story. You don't have to do anything. Samhain is a magical night, the evening where the veil between the living and the spirit world is at its thinnest. In this secluded settlement in the west of Ireland, nestled between beautiful mountains and a tranquil lake, it's a time of remembrance, protection, and communal unity. For young Eilish, a child of the tribe, the occasion is a time of great joy and excitement. Welcome to ancient Ireland. We are visiting an ancient Celtic tribe who live together, work together, survive because of each other. And tonight, they will take time to celebrate. Eilish watches her father carefully as he selects logs for the communal bonfire. These are not just any logs. They're from the sacred oak trees that grow deep in the Irish forests. Trees as old as the stories the elders tell. Her father's hands, large and calloused from years of labor, handle the wood with a deep respect. Each log is placed with purpose, building the foundation of what will soon be a roaring fire, a guide for ancestral spirits, and a barrier against any unwanted energies. The sight captivates Eilish, and she feels the importance of each deliberate movement. As the men work, the tribe's druid, or high priest, arranges a circle of stones around the future bonfire. Eilish knows these stones are not ordinary. They have been gathered from various sacred sites around their land, each one blessed by the druid in a special ceremony. The stones are smooth and cool to the touch, and as the druid places each one, he whispers ancient incantations that Eilish doesn't fully understand, but somehow she feels these words deep in her soul. The air seems to vibrate with an invisible energy, and Eilish shivers, not from cold, but from the sense of something profound and meaningful happening here tonight. Her attention then shifts to her mother and the other women of the tribe as they work together in the crisp autumn evening air. They use various stone tools to cut different root vegetables, each one grown in their land, nurtured by the family, and now part of their Samhain feast. The fragrance of the earth still clings to the vegetables, grounding and wholesome. The vegetables will soon join freshly caught salmon from the lake, the fish's scales shimmering like tiny mirrors, reflecting the warm glow of the hearth. Even the herbs hanging from the rafters seem more vibrant today. Sage, rosemary, and thyme sway gently in the indoor air, their scents mingling and create a comforting aroma. Eilish knows that these herbs are not just for cooking, They also serve as protections and blessings. Her mother takes some sage and stuffs it in the trout, whispering a prayer for health and happiness. And as she does, she thinks of her departed grandmother. And enjoys the fact that her grandmother's spirit might join tonight. And she feels grateful for this tradition that keeps the memory of her ancestors alive. As twilight begins to embrace the land, the bonfire is finally lit. The flame catches the logs, and a burst of warmth and light fills the clearing. The fire crackles and pops, as if speaking the language of the ancients. Young Eilish can't help but gaze into the flickering flames. Her imagination painting pictures of long ago warriors and majestic beasts. The entire tribe now gathers around the fire. These Celtic people who spoke their own language that still exists in some form or another today, all begin to quiet as the druid steps forward, staff in hand. His robe, adorned with symbols only the learned can read, and he begins to chant, his voice a low thrum that resonates with the natural world around him. Eilish feels the energy swell, a crescendo that seems to pull at her very core. It's as if the land itself is listening, acknowledging the sacred connection between itself and the people who have called it home for hundreds and thousands of years. As the ceremony reaches its zenith, offerings are thrown into the fire. Bundles of dried herbs, shaped like little dolls, and small packets of grains. These offerings are tokens of gratitude to the earth and a way to honor the ancestors, ensuring blessings and protection for the winter ahead. Eilish watches as her father tosses in a bundle her mother has made. It sizzles and pops, releasing a plume of scented smoke that wafts over the tribe, the scent mixing with the early evening air. After the ceremony, it's time for the feast. There's no table, but an arrangement of flat stones and logs serve as sitting and eating spaces. Woven reed mats are spread on the ground, and on them are placed large wooden bowls filled with the day's bounty. The women of the tribe bring forth the food, the fish stuffed with sage and thyme, roasted over open flames, the root vegetables, now soft and aromatic, cooked in a pot over the fire. Eilish takes a bite and savors the mix of flavors. She is filled with a sense of peace as she enjoys her delicious meal. The meal concludes with everyone taking a sip of mead from a communal wooden bowl, its surface worn smooth by years of use. The honeyed drink is strong but sweet, a symbol of the joy and richness of life, even as winter looms. As Eilish sips, she feels connected to her community. She feels a comforting knowledge that she is small, a little girl, but she is a cherished part of this little community in the west of Ireland. She looks around the group. Everyone talking and smiling as the flames dance behind them and the stars shine down from above them. She sees Cira, the tribe's herbalist. Even now, after the feast, Cira sits near the edge of the firelight, her aged fingers deftly sorting through a pile of herbs and roots. She has a wisdom in her eyes that makes Eilish feel as though Cira knows all the secrets of the forest. She is the one people go to for balms for burns, teas for coughs, and and advice for just about everything. Cira catches Eilish looking her way and gives her a knowing smile, as if to say, "Someday, child, you too will understand the language of the land." Near Cira sits Neve, the weaver. Her loom is her world, and it's through her skilled hands that the tribe has warm clothes for the winter and strong fabric for their shelters. Away from the crowd sits Fionn, the tribe's blacksmith. He is in deep conversation with some of the other men. Eilish knows that every arrowhead, every cauldron, and every tool in the village has come from Fionn's forge. The rhythmic clang of his hammer is a comforting sound that echoes through their settlements each day. Tonight, Fionn is discussing some plans with the other men, and he sketches something in the dirt with a stick, and Eilish can see the men nodding in agreement. She then sees her own father, Fionn, the fisherman, who knows the lake like the back of his hand, and her mother, Grania, who is known for her wonderful cooking. Eilish loves spending time with her mother, learning how to cook stews and bake bread. She also loves going out on the boat with her father. The feeling of the cold wind against her face, and the excitement when they catch something. They've both taught her that every member of the tribe has a role, no matter how small, in maintaining the harmony and balance of their community. Amidst the celebration, elders like Cira sometimes murmur ancient prayers and scatter offerings of food and drink on the ground for the spirits or the fairies, to ensure the tribe's livestock will survive the winter and that spring will return once again. Eilish watches as Cira moves gracefully around the fire, her arms raised in a moment of quiet reverence. This ritual fascinates Eilish. The tribe also believes that the spirits of deceased loved ones can return to the mortal world during Samhain. A place at the feast is left empty and filled with offerings for wandering spirits. The belief is not one of fear, but of reverence and love. It's an opportunity for the spirit to join the living in celebrating the cyclical nature of life and death. One last dance before winter's solemnity settles in. Now, as the bonfire's last embers glow in the darkness, Eilish feels her eyes growing heavy. Her father lifts her into his arms and begins to walk back to their dwelling, a modest thatched hut made of wattle and daub. The walls are lined with furs and dried herbs, filling the air with a comforting, earthy aroma. The family don't have separate bedrooms, but instead they share a communal sleeping space filled with soft hay, furs, and hand-woven blankets, creating a cozy nest that insulates them from the cold earth below. There is a hole in the middle of the ceiling, and through that, smoke is allowed to leave the home, for they light a little fire in the middle to keep themselves warm throughout the night. And through that hole, Eilish peeks up for one final look at the night sky, a vast canvas splashed with stars, each one twinkling like a far-off bonfire. The moon is almost full. Its silvery light filtering through the gaps in the thatched roof. On Samhain night, it's said that the moon is a guide for spirits traveling between worlds, and for a brief moment, Eilish wonders if her ancestors are looking down at her from the stars, their ancient eyes twinkling in the celestial dark. Her mother lovingly tucks her in, layering blankets and furs for warmth. The fire from a great festival may be out, but the smaller hearth fire still crackle softly in their home. A piece of the communal spirit smoldering through the night. Her parents join her now, lying down, their bodies forming a protective circle around their little girl. As they lay down, her mum sings her a soft lullaby. Her voice a soothing melody that dances with the whispers of the wind outside. The feeling of unity from the festival of Samhain lingers in the air as Eilish drifts into sleep. Unity not just with each other, but with those who have gone before and those who are yet to come. In her dreams, she revisits the evening's events. Each face of her tribe transformed into a constellation, their stories written in the stars. The comforting thought that she's a part of something much larger than herself follows her into her dreams. The warm embrace from her community that shields her from the winter nights to come. And so, under the watchful eyes of ancestors past, and the twinkling sea of stars that shine above the west of Ireland, Eilish and her family sleep deeply, peacefully, secure in the love and traditions that bind them together. The wheel of the year has turned once more, and as they rest, the boundary between this world and the next feels paper thin and yet as expansive as the night sky, with hearts full of gratitude and bellies full of the harvest's bounty. The whole tribe now sleeps in restful silence.